lot has been said about this Simeon team, a very, very talented team.
The Simeon train just keeps rolling along. They are #1 in the state, and some polls #1 in the nation.
The #1 ranked and 2-time defending state champion.
Simeon is the best team in the state, maybe best in the country.
3-time in a row state champions.
They have the best player in the country.
Welcome to the Jabari Parker Show.
Jabari Parker!
Showtime!
Simeon, history in Peoria. Their 4th state championship in a row.
He just brings a different aura to the game. He's always the focal point of the other team.
The guy everybody is here to watch tonight.
Parker playing on both ends of the floor, grabbing that rebound.
He does not have to score to dictate the basketball game.
He's always done what he has needed to do. When Simeon's needed a big bucket, he's come up with it. When he's needed a game-changing play, he's got it. He's played very, very well.
He doesn't want to be labeled as a basketball player. You know, he wants to be labeled as a student first, and basketball is second.
Jabari always said, basketball is what I do, it's not who I am.
He wants to be not Jabari Parker, the basketball player. He wants to be Jabari Parker, the person, and that's what makes him so different.
Jabari Parker cleans it up.
He's going with the left hand.
Parker hammers it down. Parker for 3,
He can play 5 positions.
That's why the college scouts love him.
Parker once again.
There's only one. Jabari Parker.
Hi, and welcome to this special Mr. Basketball edition of Sports Weekly. I'm Perry Williams. Each year, CN100 sits down with the recipient of this prestigious award after they earn what's widely considered a once-in-a-lifetime honor. This season, a special player proved otherwise and was voted Mr. Basketball of Illinois for the 2nd year in a row. Our own Cameron Smith has more.
Thanks, Perry. The most decorated high school basketball player the state of Illinois has ever witnessed leaped above and beyond countless expectations placed on his broad shoulders since the day he entered Simeon Career Academy. Jabari Parker rewrote the legendary history of Illinois high school basketball. His elegance on the court, intelligence off the court, and passion for his community are what fuels this 4-time state champion's success. Now, before Jabari begins his new quest as a Duke Blue Devil, our CN100 crew sat down with his parents, coaches, and friends to look back on a remarkable senior season and high school basketball career.
Well, as soon as I got up this morning, I just felt calm, relaxed, but anxious at the same time because I wanted to get it over with. I kind of knew where I wanted to go, but not certain.
The Parkers were really cognizant of not letting the recruiting process get away from them, and they managed it very well. They made it very clear from the outset that they weren't going to go through the circus. In recent years, where we've seen kids from the Chicagoland area commit, decommit, change their mind, end up someplace else, what the Parkers really did a nice job of was managing the recruiting process.
We're excited about it. I'm sure he is excited, but he said, don't you guys get caught up into this. So he tells us that. So he's handling a lot better than we are.
They're going to get an elite, high-level talent, complete basketball player that's going to make an impact on the campus wherever he goes from day one.
At the end of the day, Jabari has to pick the college that he wants to go to.
It's pretty much his choice and what he wants to do in his future. And we as parents, we just want to support him.
We don't influence Jabari what school we like or dislike, or we've never said anything negative or even positive about any schools just because we want Jabari to make decisions.
I think as far as growing up, it's necessary because kids need to make their own decisions.
Well, it's been a kind of a tough decision. All the schools that I was interested in, you can't go wrong at any of the programs.
You know, and that's life. You're going to have to learn to make decisions.
I will be attending Duke University.
Parker family as a whole, I think they handled the whole recruiting process with class.
They didn't run everything through the media. They kept it close to the vest. And when they made an announcement, they made definitive announcements. So just from a management of media, the way they handled it, I thought they did a marvelous job of it.
I think what Jabari wanted to do is hold off as much as he could as far as naming the school that he wanted to go to get his teammates some recognition, to get some college scouts to come out and look at them.
He's really doing a nice thing for the Simeon program. He's not giving any inkling about what he might be thinking, and that helps his teammates out because all the D1 coaches come out and watch the whole Simeon team play.
And that helped. That's the kind of person he is, the kind of teammate he is.
It's been a blessing. Just be able to get the opportunity to go to school for free is just a real good thing for me, and as well as my family, saved them a couple dollars. It was just real fun experience, the whole thing. It's been no doubt in my mind that this was a real fun journey. And I was happy too. Everybody coming out supporting me. It is a dream come true. I almost felt big time at the moment, but I'm not there yet. Just wanted to get it done. Most importantly, I wanted to get with these guys and focus on our season. The most important thing for me is just getting back healthy, wanting to compete again. That's all I want. A state championship has always been in my heart, all I've been in my dreams. And of course, winning Mr. Basketball, but I can't let that affect me and the way I play.
There's one player that most of the people in this building came to see tonight.
Wolverines going for their 4th straight state title.
Congratulations to the Simeon Wolverines for winning their 4th straight state championship.
It was the best way to sum everything up. That's a lot of hard work that went into it.
Wolverines have a brilliant freshman, Jabari Parker.
Simeon and Whitney Young in the state championship game.
We were the underdog in that situation, and we was expected to lose.
He's only a sophomore. He's really still learning.
Jabari Parker.
This may be the coming out party.
He may be the best player in the state of Illinois.
Let the celebration begin once again for Simeon.
The #1 ranked player in the nation, and he's only a junior.
He can play 5 positions.
Wow!
That's what makes him the best player in the country.
Talk about getting up.
He is true a superstar.
Beautiful thing to watch.
Good night.
And the Wolverines go back to back.
How has this year been for your family? I imagine that it's been very difficult with the ups and downs of Jabari's senior season.
This year it's been interesting, starting off with Jabari, through the summer, he had a major injury, then the recruitment process. So it's been a roller coaster ride, and he also a student too. So it was a journey, so we made it through.
It was rough, I would say. Like Sonny said, it was a roller coaster, just kind of up and down. It was interesting, but we're glad that we made it.
It was interesting because last year when he won Mr. Basketball, he was kind of on top of his world at that time.
He just took off to be the #1 player in the country and, winning the gold medal with the Olympics and just all those things.
He made the cover of Sports Illustrated, he went on Good Morning America, just all this media attention, and he had had a great season, and then he breaks his foot, and he told me that he kind of was depressed at that time.
There were times where we would talk in the evenings in his room, and he was very down. I mean, to be honest, he was depressed because, he loves the game so much that he just wanted to be a part of his team. He wanted to help them achieve that goal.
He wasn't able to train like he wanted to, and even up until maybe a few days before their very first game, he was in a walking boot.
It was very difficult for Jabari, but I kept reminding him that all things are spiritual, and that through this trial, you will reflect later on in life and realize that that you've grown much more.
Things happen for a reason, even the best players. I don't care how good you are, it's going to take a little time.
No one knew he was going to play until that day.
The team saying that he wants to play and he thinking about playing was, huge. And, we talked for like 10 to 15 minutes about if you don't do well, on how people are going to perceive you.
He had gained 35 pounds and just wasn't able to play the way he wanted to. At one point he even tripped and fell, and it just wasn't the Jabari Parker that people knew on the court.
It was difficult for him, but, being as parents, we just kept encouraging him and trying to uplift him.
I would say, Jabari, you'll look back at this that it was little, but what you learned from it is the most important lesson.
It was a struggle for him initially at first, but he persevered through it.
All right, Jabari, now the last time you and I sat down, your right foot was in a boot, you had a little box going on up top with the hair. How have you grown both physically and mentally since that time?
I think the injury helped me the most. It just kept me grounded, helped me get my love and my passion back for the game of basketball. I think that was way important. That's why I was able to do what I was able to do this year.
Catch and shoot. Kendrick Nunn following a jam by Jabari Parker.
Any question if his foot is okay? I think his foot is okay.
He did it himself, and I was just, I couldn't believe it. He's special, because to see him in the beginning and to see him toward the end, he definitely wanted it, and this was his last year to do this.
See who's the loudest, most creative, the craziest student section in town. Fans face off with each other to cheer on their team and to prove what school has the most supportive student body in the Battle of the Fans. Find out who's victorious by going to the Get Local section of your Xfinity On Demand menu. Then find CN100 and choose Game of the Week.
Last year when he won Mr. Basketball, he was kind of on top of his world at that time. He had had a great season, and then he breaks his foot. And even up until their very first game, he was in a walking boot.
He understood that he wasn't 100%. We had a conversation right after the game in Texas saying, your mind wants you to make moves that your body won't allow you to do.
Once I got that clearance, be able to walk, I was like, why not run? But it all goes into patience.
Came in town and said, Coach, it's probably just best I just sit down and, get my mind together and get my body in shape, and then I'll be able to get out there and perform the way I'm supposed to perform.
That 1 week before he went to Pontiac, took that whole week off, just, to get everything back. And once he did that, he played real well for his team.
Only Jabari Parker knows when he felt 100% once again, but I think saying that the Pontiac tournament may have been the moment where he was truly back, that might be about accurate because he was pretty dominant in that tournament.
I'm glad I took that time off just to get the little things back, like my hip movements, things I didn't have that first game that we played in. And then as time progressed, I can really see the change.
After the Pontiac tournament, Jabari got back into it and he was getting 15 to 20 minutes a game, but he was still about 15 to 20 pounds overweight at that time. And it took him about a good 5-6 weeks after that to finally get back into playing shape.
I had to keep on saying in my head, it's not gonna happen as soon as possible. We just had to keep on going, we had to keep working.
He lost the weight, and by the end of the regular season is when I thought he really was in basketball shape. So it took him a while for him to get back.
During that time, you received some undeserved criticism about yourself, about, Simeon, the team.
How were you able to turn those negatives into positives?
It was just a wake-up call. There was no handouts. This year, Simeon's dealt with a lot of conflict. And even me, they was criticizing, oh, he's not this, he's not that yet. Maybe we should, review him one more time. I think that's what made us stronger. And our bond, our relationship has gotten a little bit more personal with each other. We was able to get on each other twice as much in the gym. We knew we had to improve.
When Simeon didn't win the CPS championship, I thought that was more or less of okay, now I can see the finite end of my high school career. And he was marvelous throughout the state playoffs.
There's Parker, slammed it home.
Showtime at Argo High School. Jabari Parker rising high.
After we lost to Morgan Park, I said we probably won't lose another game after that because I saw in his eyes he didn't want to lose that game, and he was, saying that I'm not going to lose another game, as long as I play in high school.
Right at state playoff time, you just transformed into a machine. What clicked inside of you mentally to turn yourself into that machine?
Oh, it was just like an attitude of a type of animal. I just wanted to play like anybody that was standing in my way of achieving my goal. And we'll see who's the boss now, but I'm so glad I had that competitive nature going.
When you're the team that everybody is gunning for, and that's been the case for Simeon, it's one thing to get on a roll and win the state championship and beat a bunch of teams, but it's a much more difficult thing to be the marked team, especially considering the section they came out of. All those teams that you have to beat just to get out of your section, that may have been the hardest thing they had to do the whole state tournament.
The outlet to Parker. Give the assist to Kendrick Nunn. So the Wolverines continue to impress, and they continue their quest for their 4th straight state title.
But a nice win for the Wolverines as they move on to the sectional championship here in Argo.
The one game that sticks out in my mind during his senior campaign was no question about it, the sectional championship game at Argo.
It is sold out. It will be packed to see this 4A section final game between Whitney Young and Simeon.
The game that I think probably sealed him as Mr. Basketball was when they played Young.
By any measure, no matter whose rankings you go by, this is a battle between the #1 and the #2 teams in the state of Illinois in Class 4A.
He knew how important it was going to be going in, and I think that he was really hyped up for it. And you could tell from the very start of that game that he was mentally in this game.
His aggression was just something I have never seen in his high school career at all. I mean, he's not a very vocal player, but he came out with so much intensity, and he was just not going to be denied. I think he knew that that game was the state tournament, and I have never seen him come out with that much intensity than in that sectional championship game against Whitney Young.
What a feed to Jabari Parker.
And what movement without the basketball.
In his mind, Whitney Young was the team to beat in the playoffs, and so he came out, scored 29 points, and afterward, he doesn't usually hype things up, but after that game, he said, yeah, this was probably one of the most important games of my career, and so that game was really big for him.
Look at Parker, he's standing in the lane, begging for the basketball.
We'll get an easy bucket out of it with Parker.
Yeah, it's 5 shots in a row made by Parker.
Stolen away by none.
The
Off
game's
the floor,
over.
it is showtime. That's what everybody in this gym came to see tonight. The Simeon Wolverines are back into the Super Sectionals again.
Good luck rest of the way, man. Good luck rest of the way.
They keep their dream alive of becoming only the second Illinois high school basketball team to win 4 state titles in a row. They win it over Whitney Young, 69-51.
Jabari Parker, indeed, our CN100 player of the game.
If we keep it up, it's looking scary, and if we keep on playing good basketball.
One more downstate. This is the hard part, fellas. We're not downstate yet. We're just one game closer. Win Tuesday, we're back downstate.
It is a true David versus Goliath matchup tonight as the New Trier Trevians try to knock off the 3-time defending state champion Simeon Wolverines and Mr. Basketball from the year 2012, Jabari Parker.
It was the best game I've ever seen him play. I'm serious. Friday against Whitney Young.
Getting over that Whitney Young hurdle, I think he knew what he needed to do from there. And at that point, he was back to where he needed to be physically and mentally.
Parker, baseline, and he'll jam it home.
Any doubt that his foot is okay? You can notice how quickly he exploded.
They knew it was do or die. And every time we had our backs up against the wall, those guys stepped up.
New Trier 4 for 4 from the field this quarter. Cook in the lane, turns, had it knocked away. Parker with the steal. Parker playing guard, up the floor. Nice pass, got it to none, hits the bucket. He gets fouled by Thomas. The only thing that will satisfy these guys is winning a state championship.
Just talking to them, every day, going through the process is like, Coach, we're going to do it. Let's play the way we've been taught to play, and let's, go out on top.
To do that, they needed to win their 4th Super Sectional row, and they have done so. And Simeon will be on their way to the state semifinals.
The evening's first semifinal game featured a rematch of last year's state championship.
I was so hungry, scrunching my teeth like, oh, let's do it. I'm ready to play against them again.
It was the Pirates of Proviso East facing the Wolverines of Simeon.
He was back to his old self when he went to Peoria, and I think he was comfortable at that point. He was ready to win. I think he almost knew, he could do it.
If they can win 2 ball games, they get to put their names in the history books forever.
That state tourney, I'm so glad that I was blessed enough to have a good performance.
Oh, that was oh my goodness. Well, you get a little taste of why he's a McDonald's All-American.
When you get a guy like Jabari Parker, who is a leader of that team, and a guy who just refuses to lose, and you got to remember, this was his final dance. This was his senior campaign, and I think that really motivated him and his team.
And Parker! Well, it's showtime right now inside of Carver Arena. And that will do it. Simeon will be playing tomorrow night, a chance to match Peoria Manual and 4 straight state championships in Illinois basketball.
This is my job, come down to Simeon and just do the best for my school, do the best for my team.
That's all he kept saying. I want to win state, I want to win state. So bad, so bad.
My whole approach worked just as hard the last 2 games because we're not done with our mission yet.
We've got a championship game to play in 4A. Simeon Stevenson, we've got it for you next.
Step out of the game and into the locker room with Prep Profile On Demand from Xfinity. Hear Chicago's top high school athletes tell all, from their biggest influence.
He's really pushed me to become a better person.
To their favorite junk food.
Scooby-Doo fruit snacks. The colors are cool,
We ask the serious, the revealing, and the ridiculous.
And then he grabbed onto my leg and clawed my leg.
Find Prep Profile On Demand by going to Get Local, selecting CN100, and choosing Game of the Week.
Jabari Parker, the most decorated high school basketball player that this state has ever seen.
Jabari has never been one to set goals for individual accolades.
The thing that he accomplished that was probably the most difficult thing of all is to come in with all that hype and live up to it.
There was nothing else that he was really wanting to achieve but to win state.
Oh, that's all I've been thinking about ever since I was a shorty.
He set these goals from when he was in 8th grade.
It's always been in my mind, how am I going to be remembered? How's my passion in the game going to illuminate the way I feel?
And a forward for the Wolverines, a 6'8" senior, 22, Jabari Parker.
From 1994 through 1997, Peoria Manual captured 4 straight Illinois state titles. No other team had matched that feat until Saturday night. That's when the 3-time defending Class 4A state champion Wolverines of Simeon made history with a victory over the Stevenson Patriots.
History in Peoria.
Congratulations to the Simeon Wolverines, their 4th straight IHSA boys basketball title. Amazing.
There have been many and thousands and millions of people play basketball here in Illinois and never had that opportunity. And when it's all said and done, that's something that no one can ever take away from them.
This is the sweet memories that you'll have forever. Through hard work and enduring, you've achieved this goal of winning state.
It was just too much to take in at first. Just like everything going by, all the hard work, dedication in the gym, and it was finally satisfying.
4 straight state championships. What does that mean to you?
It just touched all of us. It touched me really because I was standing there with him. He waited till it was all over. He was able to, see that I did it. What I set to do, I did. It just caught him off guard, I guess.
It just hit me so fast, and it's been a long journey. All the conflict that I've been through this year, people doubting me. I tried my best maintaining. I didn't want them to take it from me, and that's why I got so emotional, because you work hard, you work too hard, and then just being happy at that last moment, being on top, it's crazy.
I saw Jabari break down. I think in that moment, that's when he could just let it go.
I just thank God. My number one focus was getting back with the team after my injury. And, all the praise goes to him and my team, Coach Rob and his coaching staff, everybody. It's a collective effort, and I couldn't do it without them.
I had seen him put his medal on Sonny, and I was excited because actually this is the first state medal that we have, because he usually gives them all away.
To share that special moment in his career, and I was on the receiving end of that, that was great that I had that experience with my son.
I was excited that we get to keep one.
And one of my favorite moments is there's a video of the team doing the Harlem Shake, and he's in the locker room doing the robot, and yeah, it was just funny. You're like, okay, he's letting loose finally. He's able to.
Win their 4th straight state title, the Wolverines now have 7 championships in school history.
Now, the month of March is over, and you start April. So you have the McDonald's All-American game, the Jordan Brand Classic game, and also the Nike Hoop Summit. How was it playing with and against some of the world's best high school basketball players?
It was great. It was one of the greatest experiences that I had in high school. The media, they put us against each other a lot. They want to build up stories, but being around those guys, they're so fun. They're just so goofy, just like me.
Guess it's time for me to sign. Be a Gator. I was like,
Now, during Jabari's official signing at Simeon, there were coaches, teammates, Simeon administrators there in attendance. Why was it so important to have those people there at that ceremony?
Normally they do the signing and then announcing the same day, but this was more of an intimate setting.
Jabari wanted it very small, so it made it really special.
And at first I wanted to go by so fast, but as I went through, I started getting a little teary-eyed because my teammates, I didn't know they appreciated me that much.
Jabari is like a brother to me, and I love him very much. He's been a brother and a great friend. He's an amazing person off the court.
And that was my role, you know, to gain their respect because those guys that I really look up to. So I just wanted to, you know, show my love for them.
That was very important to us, to appreciate all the people and all the hard work and all the support.
Without you guys being there for me, I wouldn't be here signing a letter of intent to Duke University.
Now, what was the recruiting process like for you, and how did Coach K basically win you over to attend this school?
It was mainly my desire to come to Duke. They didn't really heavily recruit me. I think they're more attractive because what they do every year, the players they produce. And Coach K is one of the gurus of basketball and the epitome of what a coach can be and a person. So I just want to learn from him.
One chapter closes and another one opens, and it's really exciting. I'm excited that we don't have to pay for college. So that's what I'm excited about.
When I go to Duke next year, I'm just going to take that approach that I had my freshman year. How am I going to be remembered? How am I going to be on top? You know, take that underdog role again, and it's time to do it.
One thing that stuck with me a lot is Jabari said he wanted to win for his community.
I had to take Chicago with me because this is a city that made me who I am today.
We've tried to raise Jabari that to much is given, much is required, and that because he has been blessed, he needs to bless others.
He just wants to pave the way for others.
Jabari wants to be a role model, and so that's just part of it.
A lot of our city's news is negative. I just want to do something positive for kids to say, it's cool following the blueprint of success. You know, if you have a good education, if you stay close to the people that surround you, and if you respect others, the sky's the limit.
That's the biggest thing for me, more than his basketball and all the accolades, is his character. He carries himself as a great young man. He wants to be known as Jabari Parker, the person, not Jabari Parker, the basketball player, and that's huge.
There was an old man that had been coming to Jabari's games starting his freshman year. I believe he is in his 80s.
He was there through the snow, the winter. He had to find rides. He's been dedicated for our program for a long time, and I just want to show my appreciation for him.
Jabari won state last year, and he kept his medal.
I knew the first person I was going to give it to was him.
He wrote a little note expressing how grateful he was that he was following their team and that he deserved this medal. As parents, you know, you teach your children to love others. And, excuse me, and when he gets it, that it's bigger than us, and that through this thing called fame, we can make others happy with our joy. And so I think that's my best memory of what Jabari has done off and on the court at Simeon.
Congratulations to Jabari Parker for winning the 2013 Mr. Basketball of Illinois.
2 consecutive Mr. Basketball awards. Did you ever have any doubt after the slow start that you encountered?
Yeah, I had a little doubt. That's why I picked it up twice as much.
I think the most important thing he did his senior year to win Mr. Basketball for the second year in a row was when he got up against elite players, he played great.
The little Okafor is having a wonderful season. I got to do something. So let's try our best to be the underdog this time.
Remember, it is Okafor who is the Sun-Times Player of the Year. It is not Jabari Parker, which will make it interesting when the voting for Mr. Basketball comes up.
The fact that he played well when it mattered most, that's why he was Mr. Basketball this year for the second year in a row.
It's about who's on top. I was saying, like, what else can I do?